Hey everyone, Melissa Wick here. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back. Really grateful to be here with you. This is a well-rounded practice, although it is centered mostly around the hips and some twists. So there will be a little bit of physical strengthening, a little bit of physical toning, and a little bit of physical balance. And then we are going to end the class with some juicy, delicious hip openers to really allow us to feel just nourished and more open and more relaxed. We'll have a nice deep Savasana, and then we'll end the practice in a very heart-centered way, just setting ourselves up for the rest of our day as we step off of the mat and into the world. So have a block that might be handy, as some of the openers are pretty deep, or a pillow or something like that. Get into something comfortable and let's get this practice started. Let's get started on our backs. If you have a block, just leave it at the top of your mat. Let's go ahead and lay ourselves down. And let's just start with the knees bent. And we'll actually bring our knees in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers around the shins. Just give yourself a nice gentle hug here. Re-lengthen the back of the neck so the chin is slightly in. Relax your shoulders, and let's just take 2 deep cleansing breaths to arrive here together. So exhale your breath out of your nose. And take a nice big deep inhale in through the nose and let your belly and chest fill up. And then a nice big exhale out through the mouth, release. Shoulders drop, belly pulls in. We'll do that one more time. Biggest breath you've taken all day so far. Breathe in, take life in. And as you exhale, maybe you let out a sigh, let go of your day. Release. Close your mouth and start to breathe in and out through both nostrils. So really set up your practice with a smooth rhythm of breath. Just feel your belly rise and fall as you breathe. Let your body land here. Let your mind soften. Perhaps you'd like to set an intention for your practice. Also, holding the intention to stay anchored and tethered to your breath all throughout the class. Now from here, staying connected to your beautiful breath, let's come into some dynamic twisting to warm up the spine and start to awaken the core a little bit. So take your arms out to the sides and bring your legs into tabletop position. So knees stacked over your hips. Pull the belly in towards the back of the spine so that there's no space between the mat and your lower back. It's like you're buckling in with a seatbelt. Contain the core. Legs zip together, let them stay together. They're probably going to want to separate. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, bring your legs together as a unit over to the left, maybe about halfway, without lifting your right shoulder off of the ground. Inhale back to center, and then exhale over to the right leg. Stay together. Inhale back to center. Legs over to the left. Go as far down as you can without lifting off the right shoulder off the mat. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the right. Keep the left shoulder glued down. Inhale back to center. This time we'll come all the way down. Exhale to your left, and we'll come into a simple twist. So take your left hand, hold on to your right thigh. You can turn your head to the opposite way of your legs. Nice deep abdominal breaths. Let that right shoulder soften. Good, and then you can take your hands back down to the ground. You can push down onto the floor for leverage. Use your core as well. Inhale, legs together back to center. Exhale now all the way over to the right, simple twist. Right hand holds the left thigh. You can flip the left palm up if it's not already up. Breathe into your belly, maybe gaze opposite way of your legs. Let that left shoulder soften. Beautiful. Come back to center. Bring both knees in towards your chest again, interlace the fingers, just bring in some symmetry. And now we'll come up onto all fours. So either bring your hands to the backs of your knees, rock yourself up, or you can roll over onto one side and meet me there. Come onto all fours. And from here, you're going to keep your hips stacked over your knees and we'll come into a nice puppy stretch. So walk or slide your hands forward, melt the forehead and chest down towards the mat. Doesn't need to touch the ground, but if it does, great. Keep pulling the belly in towards the back of the spine. Breathe into the chest now as you inhale. And then as you exhale, the belly pulls in. So you're going to feel this opening in the under the underarms, the back, the shoulders. Feeling this elongation in the spine. Good. Now, gently walk the hands back underneath your shoulders. From here, you're going to zip the legs up completely together. Tuck the toes underneath for a toe stretch. And then sit your hips back to your heels. Hands can come onto your thighs. If this is not happening for you today or it just feels really, really intense, feel free to point your toes and just sit on your heels. You can also bring a block in between your ankles and bring your seat up onto a block. If you want to go with the toe stretch, just stay with me here. At any point, you can change and point your toes. Take your hands behind you, interlace the fingers, then give your shoulders a loop onto the back, and then extend your elbows, knuckles down and away. Notice here the ribs might want to pop out. Can you knit them in together? And make sure the chin isn't way up. Slight pull in of the chin, eyes along the horizon. As you inhale, breathe into the chest. And as you exhale, the navel pulls back. So find your rhythm like that, just a couple more breaths. All right. Release your hands. Take the hands in front of you. Interlace the fingers, palms face you. Push your knuckles away from you. Pull the belly in, chin in, making a C shape with your spine. Just feel this nice deep opening in the backs of the shoulders, back of the neck. And then lift your torso. Flip your palms away from you. Scoop the arms up. Inhale, lengthen the sides of your body. Exhale, release your hands and just clear the space around you as you lower the arms down with your exhale. If you're still with your toes tucked under, well done. Just come up, point your toes. Just release that. Feel the circulation coming back. And from here, we're going to come on to all fours to shift into downward facing dog. So take your hands back into table, knees hip width distance apart. Retuck your toes under and then push up and back, downward facing dog. Let's make this a little more passive, so bend the knees here. Opening up the backs of the legs, bend one knee, drop one heel. And then you can switch, alternate, bend the other knee, drop the other heel. And you can pedal that out a couple more times. Say hello to the backs of the legs here. And now we'll shift the focus. So you can keep a little bend in the knees here and really orient yourself around a long spine. So send your sit bones up and back, push down through all 10 knuckles. Make this now more about your spine. Connect to your breathing. Focus your eyes on one point in between your legs, maybe the wall behind you.
Now from here towards the end of your exhalation, bend your knees even more and step to the top of your mat. Feet hip width distance apart, forward fold. Bend your knees again here. Let's do some ragdoll swaying. So grab opposite elbows. Release the back of your neck. You can be still if that feels better for you, or if you want to sway, you can sway. You can nod your head a little bit, yes. Release tension in your neck, the shoulders. If you're swaying, come back to stillness. Release your elbows. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips to shins or quads, shoulders back, chin in, long spine. Exhale, stay here in your half lift, hands on the hips. Flat back, inhale, rise up, feel the power of your legs, come to stand. Exhale, lower your arms down, Tadasana, mountain pose. Shoulders onto the back, tailbone lengthens down. Proud open chest, eyes along the horizon. Connect back to your breath. Standing tall, proud, confident, embodied. Now from here, inhale, reach the arms up. Try to keep the biceps by the ears, thumbs back in space, little bend in the knees. Exhale with a long, strong spine. Come down, biceps by the ears all the way down, forward fold. Great way to strengthen the spine. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen shoulders back, chin in. Exhale, plant your palms and step back to high plank. So your heels, hips, shoulders, head in one line. Pubic bone curls in towards the chin. Push down through the palms. Feel that lift in the frame of the arms. You can always bring the knees down here. You're going to shift slightly forward over your wrists. As you exhale, bend your elbows towards the back of the mat. Elbows in, lower down with control onto your belly. Point your toes. Shoulders onto the back, elbows in. Inhale, baby cobra or cobra. Heels of the hands draw in towards the body as the chest opens. And then as you exhale, tuck the toes under, push up and back, downward facing dog. Find stillness in your dog. Steady your breath. That'll help steady your mind. Now keeping the hips level, inhale, right leg's going to sweep up, three-legged dog. As you exhale, gently step your right foot to the outside of the right hand. Place your left knee down. Inhale here, you're going to release the hips, sink them forward, open the chest, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, shift your hips back and lengthen your right leg, flex the right toes. We'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, bend your right knee, sink the hips forward, open the chest, lengthen the spine. Exhale, shift your hips back, flex your right foot. 1 more time. Inhale, bend your right knee, come forward, just opening up the hips and the hamstrings, lengthen the spine. Exhale, shift your hips back, flex the right foot. Pause here. We'll just take 1 cycle of breath, saying hello to the hamstrings. You can stay on the fingertips, soften the shoulders. And then we'll rebend the right knee, shift forward. Now here, you can either stay with your right toes facing forward, hug the right knee in towards your right shoulder, more like a lizard shape. Or if you want, turn your right toes out and then come onto the outer edge of your right foot, making sure there's no pain in the knee or ankle. And then planting your left hand down, take your right hand to your right thigh and gently push that right thigh away, softening the shoulders, opening up the chest a little bit. If you're pushing with your right hand, make sure you're pushing closer to your hip bone rather than pressing on your actual knee. Deep belly breaths. Good. Release the external opening with the right thigh. If you have that, place your right hand down. Make sure here your right toes are facing the top right corner of your mat. And then tuck your left toes under, power up your back leg. Bring your gaze in front of you slightly. We're going to step forward into Malasana. So when you're ready, you're going to step your left foot forward to the outside of the left hand and come into your yogi squat. Heels in, toes out. palms to touch. You can always bring a block under your sit bones. So make sure you're not caving in on the inner arches of the feet, all four corners of the feet rooted, palms touching. Lift your sternum, triceps press into the inner thighs, the inner legs. Breathe deeply. Now we're going to rise and activate the legs. Really root down through your heels into the ground. Imagine as if you're going to slide up, then there's a wall behind you. So root down, keep the chest lifted, rise up to stand, feel the power of your legs. Heel toe your feet hip width distance apart. Mountain pose, Tadasana, palms face forward, shoulders back, eyes up along the horizon. Nice deep breaths. Good, let's flow our way down onto our bellies. Let's move with intention rather than through habitual movement. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Try to keep the biceps by the ears, thumbs back, little bend in the knees. Exhale, challenge the length of the spine, coming down all the way. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen, shoulders back, chin in. Exhale, plant your palms, step back, high plank, pause in high plank for a moment. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, shift slightly forward, lower down to your belly. Point your toes, pause here. Now we're going to awaken the core just a little bit more. Come onto your forearms. Forearms are parallel, palms flat. Tops of feet press down onto the mat. Make sure you're not dumping into your shoulders, so push the forearms down, hug the elbows in towards the body as the chest comes through. From here, inhale, you find the length, opening the chest, shoulders back, chin in. As you exhale, you're going to tuck the chin in and then curl the pubic bone up towards the chin and then pull the belly in, tuck the tail under, lift the hips. So you're going to really pull the belly in, and then you're going to slowly lower back down, hips come back down. Inhale, come back to Sphinx. So chest open, shoulders back. Nice deep core activation. Exhale, pull the chin in, pull the belly in, tuck the tail under, tuck, 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 tuck. So much tucking you might be shaking a little bit. And then slowly lower with control. This is very precise. Come back down, inhale. We'll do it one more time. Exhale, chin in, pull the belly in, tuck the tail under, tuck, 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 lift. Maybe you lift so much that the knees lift, tops of the feet are pressing down. Pull the belly in, slowly with care. Lower the hips down, open up the chest. And then as we exhale, we'll wing out the elbows, lower down, stack the palms, rest the forehead on the backs of the hands. Just release the body. You can give your hips a little sway or wiggle or just be still. Just breathe your belly into the mat. All right, so bring your hands to either sides of your chest, elbows in. Inhale, push up. Exhale, let's come into child's pose. Toes touch, knees wide. Send your hips back to your heels and just allow your lower back to expand and release. Breathe into your belly. Good. Now come back onto all fours. Bring your knees back underneath your hips. Downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under, push up and back, downward facing. Nice long spine. Steady your breath. Here we go on the other side. So hips stay steady and even, so don't let the hip rise up. Inhale, three-legged dog. Push down through the palms. Exhale, step your left foot to the outside of the left hand. Place your right knee down. Sink your hips. Inhale, open the chest, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bring your hips back. Lengthen the left leg, flex the left toes, left feet, left foot. Inhale, bend your left knee, shift forward. Open the chest. Exhale, shift your hips back. Flex the left foot. One more time. Bend the left knee. Inhale, shift forward, open, shoulders back. Exhale, shift your hips back, flex the left foot, pause here, take a cycle of breath, relax the shoulders, find ease. Good, and then bend your left knee again, shift forward. Option 1, keep your left toes facing forward, left knee hugs into the left shoulder. Or turn your left toes out and then come onto the outer edge of your left foot, keeping the ankle firm and strong. Right hand stays down, and then take your left hand and gently push the left thigh away. Relax the shoulders, and allow a little bit of a twist. Breathe into the belly. All right, if you're pushing with the left hand, come back to center, place both hands down. Now make sure your left toes are facing the top left corner of your mat. Tuck your right toes underneath, power up your back leg. Gaze out in front of you. We're gonna step the right foot to the outside of the right hand for Malasana Yogi Squat. Heels in, toes out, palms to touch. You can always sit on a block here. Stay here if this is great for you right now. If you want to add in a little more, take your right fingertips out to the right, pressing your right arm into your right leg into your right arm, and then start to open the left arm up, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Make sure there's no pain in your knees. You want all 4 corners of the feet rooted. Release the left arm down, other side. So left fingertips out to the left, arm to leg, leg to arm. Right arm opens up. Maybe you look up. Keep the spine nice and long. Release, hands back to prayer. We're going to rise up again. So really root down with your heels. Chest open. Here we go. Inhale, as if you're sliding up a wall that's behind you, imaginary wall. Straighten the legs. Heel toe your feet hip width distance apart. Tadasana, mountain pose, shoulders back. Now we'll come into a little bit of balancing pose. We'll do figure 4 chair pose with an option for a twist. So steady yourself here. We're going to inhale, sit back into chair. Utkatasana, sit back in your heels, bring your arms up. Pull the belly in, tailbone lengthens down. Bring your hands into prayer. From here, focus your eyes on one point, maybe a spot just in front of you on the floor. Shift into your left leg. Lift your right foot up. Cross your right ankle. Let it clear the left thigh. Foot is flexed. Sit back even a little more. Hold on to a wall if you need it. You can stay right here, or you can bring your forearms to your shins, or whatever expression you want to take today. If you want to add in the twist, you're going to twist to your left and bring your right tricep to the outside of that right foot, pushing the palms into one another. Soften the shoulders, keep some length in the spine. Breathe into the belly. If you're in the twist, slowly come back to center. And then we'll rise up with grace, come to stand, feel the strength and steadiness of your legs, and release your arms. Eyes up, come back to your breath, shoulders back. Not attached to what it's supposed to be like or what it's supposed to look like. Just move through each experience moment by moment. Let's take it to the other side. Let's sit back in chair pose. Inhale, sit back in your seat. Reach the arms up, thumbs back. Hands into prayer. Steady yourself first. When you are ready, lift your left foot up. Cross your left ankle, let it clear the right thigh. Left foot is flexed. Stay center. Maybe your forearms come to your shin. You want to add the twist. You turn to the right. And place your left tricep to the outside of the right foot. Push one palm into the other, chest stays open, shoulders soft, breathe into the belly, long spine. All right, if you're in a twist, slowly come back to center. And then we'll rise up with control. Come to stand. Mountain pose, eyes up. Just let that go. One of the quickest ways I find to bring us back to focus and presence is doing balancing postures. All right, let's take it down into some juicy hip openers. So inhale, reach the arms up. Let's practice strengthening and lengthening the spine. Exhale, keep the biceps by the ears, thumbs back, come down. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, halfway lift, chin in, long spine. Exhale, last flow, step back, chaturanga. You can come down halfway to upward facing or come down to your belly. One breath per movement, nice and calm. Inhale as your back bend. Exhale, you shift back, downward facing dog. Take a cleansing breath here if you need. From here, we're going to prepare for pigeon. So right leg's going to sweep up, inhale. Exhale, right knee to right wrist, right ankle towards the left. Slide the left leg back. Take a peek back. Make sure that your left leg is in line with the hip bone. It's not somewhere off to the side. Keep the hips level and squared in the center. If you want a little extra here, something nice is to tuck the left toes under, of course, if there's no pain in the lower back. And then maybe you extend that left leg, and you might feel a nice deep opening here in the psoas, as long as there's no compression or pain in the lower back. When you feel ready, you can release that. And then as you exhale, take your pigeon to sleep. So use a block for your forehead, or you can lay over a bolster. Or if you don't have any props, you can stack your fists and rest your forehead on the fists. It's just a really nice way to bring the floor up to us. That way the body feels like it's being held and supported. So find your position here, find your edge, meet your point of resistance. Pausing there, and then drop into your breath. Relax your shoulders, soften your jaw, relax your fingers. Nice deep abdominal breaths. So it's a nice deep hip opener, and it's also a forward fold, which makes it a nice calming posture. So really tap into your exhales to move through any resistance or stagnancy or tension or tightness. Beautiful. Start to lift your chest up. Come onto your hands. Move your blocks and props aside.
Now we're going to come into double stacked pigeon. So bring your right sit bone down, your glute down, and bring your left leg forward. If you got to assist it up, bring it up. And we'll come into double stacked pigeon. So your right shin will come parallel to the top of the mat. And then bring your left shin on top of the right. If that is just not happening today, no problem. Take care of your knees. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. You can just sit cross-legged, which is great too. Just make sure you remember what side you're on, because on the other side, you'll do the opposite. So if you're doing double stack, the left leg is on top. If you find that there's a really big gap between your right foot and left knee, no problem. Use a pillow or a block or something to just support that left top leg. Make sure your ankle feels all right. You can sit up tall and either have your hands on the ground or hands on your feet and knees, or fold forward to go even deeper. Whichever shape you're in with your legs, you have the option to fold. Not sure if I'll make my block today with my head, but you can stack up props, as many as you need to bring the floor up to your head. Once you find your position, first things first, drop into your breath. Maybe you close your eyes to shift a little more internally. Relax your shoulders and your jaw and just find your inner eyesight and take a scan throughout your entire body and just see where you may be holding anything unconsciously or consciously. Perhaps you're holding some tension, some physical tension. Or perhaps you're holding an old story that's not serving you anymore. Or perhaps a limiting belief. Or perhaps a heavy emotion. Whatever it may be, set the intention that with every exhale, you're releasing and letting it go. And if you need to, even imagine it leaving your physical body into the ground, into the earth, allowing the earth to absorb it and neutralize it. Good. Let's prepare to come out of this deep, delicious hip opener. Lift your chest up. Props aside. Unravel the legs. You can either stretch the legs out straight in front of you to release, or sometimes it's nice to do a little windshield wipe. You can pick what feels better. Make it intuitive. And then we'll come back into downward dog. So just roll yourself forward, come back onto your hands. If you want to pedal out your feet, you can do that here. Bring some circulation back into the legs. And we'll take pigeon on the left side. So prepare, left leg will rise up. And then take your left knee to your left wrist, left ankle towards your right. Slide the right leg back. Take a peek. Can you see that your right leg is in line with your hip bone? And if you want to add in that little extra part, tuck your right toes under, power up your back leg, And just feel that deep opening in the psoas, the front of the right hip flexor, as long as there's no pain in the lower back. When you feel ready, you can release that. And then take your pigeon to sleep, walk your hands forward, melt yourself over a bolster or a block or pillows. Hips are in the center. Notice if you have a tendency to kind of shy away from some of the uncomfortableness. See if you can find the courage to lean into it. Use the breath, use your inner eye, scan through, relax the shoulders, find softness, go inward, breathe, exhale. We're just noticing any patterns that might come up when we meet resistance. Do we want to dodge it, move away from it, resist it, wish that it goes away? Or can we choose differently? Can we choose to be curious, lean into it, move through it, trust? See what happens when you go into it, because the way out is through. Beautiful. Prepare to come out of the shape. So lift your torso up, bring your left hip down. Gently bring your right leg forward, preparing for double stacked pigeon on the other side, or cross-legged. Left shin parallel to the top of your mat. Bring your right shin on top of the left shin, also parallel. Use blocks or pillows if you need to mind the gaps. You can stay lifted, or you can fold forward to go even deeper into it. Listen to your body. And some days it's different. Never want to force our way into anything. The body's going to unfurl at its own pace. We're just setting up the environment for that to happen. So we meet our edge. We tap into our breath. We scan through our entire body and invite in softness. Release any gripping, release the hold. Let it go.
Prepare to come out of the shape. Start to lift your chest up. Remove your props aside. Unravel your legs. And we'll take the legs out in front of us. And we'll slowly roll ourselves down. Have your block or pillow or whatever you have close by. Come down onto your back. And let's come into a nice simple twist just to balance everything out. So we'll extend the left leg long. Pull the right knee in towards you. Left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Roll over onto your left side. Right arm opens up into a T. Palm faces up. And then gaze is wherever's the most comfortable for your neck. Whenever we're twisting, we breathe into the belly. Nice deep abdominal breaths. Maybe you close your eyes. And with every inhalation, just invite in nurturance. And with every exhalation, invite in release. And slowly make your way back to center. Plant both feet down onto the mat. Notice if one hip's a little higher, just lift and lower your hips. Readjust. Let's take our simple twist to the other side. Right leg goes straight long onto the ground. Pull your left knee in, right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Roll over onto your right side and extend your left arm out to the side, palm up. Go inward. Deep abdominal breaths. Release. Come back to center. Plant both feet down onto the mat. Now, one more pose before we come into Savasana. Take your block or pillow or whatever you have and lift your hips up, but place your prop under your sacrum, your tailbone. So not the bum, not the lower back, but right in between. And then we'll bring our legs up towards the sky. If you don't have a prop, that's fine. Just lift your legs up. And if you want, you can either have your elbows on the ground and just open your palms up and let your thighs rest on your hands if you feel like it's a lot of effort to hold the legs up. Or play with that effortless effort with the legs up, hands on the belly or arms down by your side. On the belly is really nice as we're winding things down. Just invite in a deeper sense of calm and centeredness and balance. Maybe you close your eyes, refreshing the legs and inviting in this downward force of energy, this grounding, releasing energy. Beautiful. Start to bend the knees once again. Plant your feet down onto the mat. Lift your hips up, slide your prop out, and lower your hips down. Just pause there for a moment, just receive. Feel this downward force of sensation, downward flow of energy. And then bring your knees back in towards your chest, interlace the fingers. Back where we started. Nice deep breaths. And from here, we're going to extend our legs out long into Savasana. So take up as much space as you like, maybe more space than you normally ever would. Arms out by your side, palms up. Maybe you wiggle your hips a little bit just to find some length in the lower back. Use any props that you like. Maybe you lift the chest, gently tuck the shoulders under, relax the back. Let your ankles just fall open. Take a cleansing breath if you'd like. Nice big breath in. Nice exhale out. Let it all go. Your whole body is resting on the ground. There is nothing left here for you to do. There is nowhere else for you to be. Nothing is asked of you right now. This time is here for you to receive, to rest, and to nourish yourself on deep, deep levels, mind, body, soul. And just know that the more that you can relax here, the more you are supported. And the more that you can relax, the deeper you are held. Allow yourself to receive here, and I'll let you know when it's time to come back.
Notice what it feels like to be at home in the center of your multi-dimensional being. And know that this place of deep ease and calm and centeredness is always available to you. It is your birthright. Now slowly begin your return by deepening your breath. Start to bring some movement back into your body. So maybe you move your fingers, your wrists, your ankles. Bring your arms up overhead for a nice big stretch. So reawakening, stirring your body back into wakefulness. Bring your knees in toward you. Give yourself a hug. Acknowledge your efforts for showing up for yourself. And then roll over onto one side, pausing in the fetal shape for a couple of deep breaths into your upper back. And then start to make your way up into a comfortable seated position. And we'll close our practice together behind a tall spine. Hands just rest on the thighs or in the lap. Shoulders back, chin slightly in. Just enjoy these last few moments with your breath and noticing what you've cultivated during this practice. And we'll close in a very heart-centered way. Bring one hand to your heart. Bring the other hand on top of that hand. Slight bow in of the chin. Take a breath into your heart. Exhale into your heart. And have compassion and care and kindness towards your beautiful self. Giving thanks. I thank you so much for your trust and for sharing your practice with me. From my heart to yours, namaste.